The armies of Israel stood on one hill, the Philistines on another, and in the valley between them, silence. Then he came, Goliath of Gath, 9 feet tall, armor weighing over 125 pounds, a bronze helmet, a massive spear, a shield so large it required its own carrier. He was not just a warrior, he was a weapon. And every single morning, for 40 days, he walked into that valley and shouted the same challenge. "Choose a man to fight me. If he kills me, we will be your servants. But if I kill him, you will serve us." And every morning, the entire army of Israel ran. These were trained soldiers, men of war, and they were terrified. Not one man stepped forward. Not one. Then a boy arrived at the camp. Not a soldier, not a warrior. A shepherd boy, sent by his father to bring food to his brothers. His name was David. And when David heard Goliath's voice echoing across the valley, he did not run. He looked around at the soldiers hiding in their tents and asked, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living God?" Word reached King Saul, and David was brought before him. Saul looked at this young shepherd boy and said, "You cannot fight this giant. You are just a boy." But David looked at the king and said, "Your servant has killed both lions and bears to protect his father's sheep. This Philistine will be like one of them. The Lord who rescued me from the lion and the bear will rescue me from this Philistine." The room went silent. Saul offered David his own royal armor, his bronze helmet, his coat of armor, his sword. David put them on and took them straight back off. "I cannot go in these. I am not used to them." He would face a giant in a shepherd's tunic, with nothing but a staff, a sling, and 5 smooth stones picked from a stream. 5 smooth stones. That was all. Not an army, not a sword, not armor. Just 5 stones. And a God who never misses. David walked into the valley alone. On one side, the entire Philistine army. On the other, the frozen army of Israel watching in silence. And in the middle, Goliath. When Goliath saw David coming toward him, he laughed. He looked at this boy, this young, ruddy-cheeked shepherd, and he was insulted. "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks? Come here, and I will give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals." And David, without flinching, shouted back across the valley, "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel." And then David ran. Not away, toward the giant. He reached into his bag, took out 1 stone, placed it in his sling, and with one single motion, he let it go. The stone flew across the valley and struck Goliath directly in the forehead. The giant swayed, the ground shook, and Goliath of Gath, the most feared warrior in the ancient world, fell face down into the dirt. The valley went silent. Then the Philistines ran, and Israel roared. A shepherd boy had done what an entire army could not. Not because David was the strongest, not because David was the most experienced, but because David knew something the soldiers had forgotten. When God is with you, the size of your enemy is irrelevant. The giant in your life right now, that problem that looks too big, that challenge that has everyone else running. Maybe God didn't bring you there to watch. Maybe He brought you there because you're the one with the stone. If this story stirred something in you today, like, share it, and subscribe to Faith in the End Times. Every week we bring the greatest stories ever told back to life. God bless you. See you next time.